Now on the agenda, the Choctaw Nation royalty is going to perform the Four Directions ceremony, and Presley Byington will be explaining that ceremony for you.
Throughout Choctaw culture, the Choctaw people, not only with Choctaws, but with all tribes, we've always gone in the numbers of fours. We go in the numbers of fours and sixes, and there's a reason for that. The numbers of four, it consists of our four quarters of the earth, the four directions, the four winds, and the four seasons. And so with that, we have our prayers. And with our prayers, whenever we start out, we always start out at the east, because that there's where the grandfather meets us every day. And as we know that, that Indian people, we always refer to him as grandfather rather than God or anything else. He was grandfather. He was the oldest one. He was the wisest one. He's been here longer than anything. So, that there's why we've called him grandfather. And so with that, like I said, we always start out at the east, because that there's where he greets us every morning whenever we get up and whenever we pass this earth, whenever we leave this world, and when we are buried, that there's how that we are buried, so that whenever we rise up, we will still be pointing towards the east, because that there's also a symbol of that's fixing to be a new life. And so with that, we're going to start with the east, the color of yellow, which is the season of spring, that there's whenever life starts to begin. And it's the spring, it's getting warm. It's just now starting to warm up after the winter. So this here's our color of yellow. Like I said, it's warm. It's just now starting. It's beginning a new life. And whenever we start our prayers, and whenever we do this here, we always ask that the spirits from the east to come with us and be with us in our prayers. And so with that, this here is one that we have. This is, as I stand before you in prayer, for you to see and hear, lead us, Father, by the light of the wisdom. Thank you, Grandfather, for all the ways in which you guide us. We are lost without you. And then we go to the south, which is the summertime. And that there's the color of red, whenever whenever the sun is at its highest, and it's the hottest part of the year. So we use that color of red because we know that the color of red is a nice, warm, hot color there. And so like I said, in the beginning, whenever we start out our prayers and whenever we make our offerings, we always ask the spirits from each of the directions to be with us in our prayers. And so with this one, we also ask the spirits of the south to be with us in our prayers. Here's this. Father, give us life. When we take food from the earth, we thank you for the gifts. Keep us from wasting them and help us to remember the needs of all the relatives so that everyone will live healthy lives. And then we go to the north. We go to the west. The west is the fall. That there's the color where the color of black is. That's where the sun goes down in the evening. And it's starting to get dark. And then we also understand that this here's the fall. This here's where the thunders come from, whenever everything gets dark. And it doesn't mean that it's the end of a life. It's just that that there's a new beginning that's going to happen a little bit later on. But like I said, this here's where the thunders comes from. It's the west. And so with that, we're going to ask the spirits from the west to be with us in our prayers. And it's as the sun sets and darkness covers the earth, we thank you, Grandfather, for all your gifts, especially life-giving water, which keeps us alive. Cleanse us of all this evil and renew once again. And then we move to the north. The north is where the great white giants come from, what we call the thunders, the snowstorms. It's what we call this one here. It's the symbol of wintertime. And we also know that, that once this here happens and it makes its full circle, that it will start back again to the east and life will start all over again. Because, as Indian people, we make that circle. There's no beginning and there's no end. And we do that with our 4 directions as well and our 4 seasons. And with that, we ask the spirits of the north to be with us with all of our prayers. And it says, Father, we need your strength to keep us strong in bad times as well as good. Help us to be patient and wait for your power to show us all the way. We rely on you, Grandfather, as we face the harsh and purifying winds of life. Oh, thank you.